Right, we've got a Makita drill today, and this is a DHP458. Now, when you whack a battery in, this thing does nothing. That's why I'm showing you it. So this is dead. We've got the light on at the front, but no movement, no noise, nothing like that. So we'll whack it open, but generally that could be the brushes, and that's your easiest thing to check. Cheapest thing as well, normally. So have a look in the back, check where these are, how much is left, that sort of thing. Now it's really simple to actually get these out. I did show this in a really old video from when I first started, probably about 8 months ago on here. Now, as a refresher, if you like, there is a little clip on the side you just pop up, and then there's a little spring here. So either rest that above or below, just as long as it's not in the slot, and then you can just pull that out and you can have a look. Now that, when we focus, isn't too bad. It's obviously worn, but it's nowhere near that line, so that should still be working fine. So not worth replacing at this point. And just to confirm, the other one is the same, just in case it's in at some crazy angle and it's managed to wear one down before the other. Let's just have a quick look. And again, pop that clip off and have a look. And again, there's loads left on there. So that isn't the problem here. It is going slightly blue, but they do that when they get hot. So we'll whack this open, see what's going on inside. It's obviously something a little bit more costly than, or a simple thing, but let's have a look. So whack all these screws out, and I've just got a load of these as well. Don't know if anyone is on Whatnot, but from a seller, and I'll put it below, just started selling all this Einhell KWB stuff, and it's pretty good actually so far. Not had any problems. Do like Einhell, I haven't got a lot of it. I know they do some cheaper tools sometimes, but I think a lot of sort of on the continent, Europe, they use it, don't they? But there we go. So that's that, and that helps me get down the side look. So sometimes I've got them stupidly long bits, but when I'm just using these smaller ones, this helps quite a bit. So there we go, whack all the screws out, and then we'll get this case off. Fairly simple thing. These ones, I do like the old brush tools. It's always pretty simple to find a fault and fix a fault, whereas when you get down to the brushless level, it's just buy everything electrical if you want to fix it. It's quite annoying. So let's start separating this and basically do a visual inspection as you go in. So as you're pulling stuff apart, start checking the cables, start checking for burning, melting, just as you go in, or chunks of stuff like that. Now, generally I start at the bottom and go up, or the top and go down. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. Now, you can see here straight away we've got a cable, and that isn't connected to anything. And you can see burn marks on it. You can see the insulation on it a little bit burnt around the edge there. So not a good sign, but equally it is a good sign because we know that is a fault. There could be more than one. Always check for more than one. Don't just presume that's it. There could be something else in here. So have a good look around. Get it out of the case if you can. These things are normally fairly fiddly and annoying, but just get it out so you can see sort of both sides of it all around. Now, luckily today, what I'm doing, I've got a number of salvage units of the same model number. So whatever we find, I'm going to be taking from one of those. So luckily it's not going to cost me anything. But I definitely recommend that if you go through tools like nobody's business. Just keep your old ones. Hopefully it's a different fault next time. Now, looking here, you can see where we've melted and come away. So this was connected to this little board just under the heatsink here. Now, very simply, what we're going to do is grab our salvage one, which is here, which is actually one that one of you sent me. The person, I won't say any names, but went through the chuck at the front there with a grinder. So everything else is perfectly fine in here, apart from all of that rust looking at that. So the bit that we want is going to be fine. Definitely, if we were going to use the magnet there or anything else, we'd probably not be using that one. But that's not the problem today, so we can put this one aside and focus on using something else here. So this element here, and you can see there we're perfectly connected, and this one does still run. It's just, as I say, the front of it where they took the chuck off was damaged, and they're 50 or 60 pounds for new gearboxes because you have to buy the whole thing then, so not worth it. So they sent it in to us. Now what we're going to do is just take these brushes out here so we can pop the motor out, the armature, pull it away from that brush housing. Much easier to do when you just push those springs back. Gone a little bit out there, but all I'm doing is popping those out, and then we can just release that. There we go. Now, this then is going to go into here, into this magnet, and always check as well, get it the right way round, and I'll show you that in a second. Now, what we're going to do is we are not going to take all of this out and put it into that other case. There's no need for that. What we'll do is give this one a good clean out, speed it up a bit. We'll blow as much of this crap out as we can, and we'll just use this. There's no reason to put it back in that other one. Both of these are mine anyway, so not going to achieve anything. It's not going to be sent out to one of you, so it doesn't need to be perfect. All I want to do is get this working again. So there we go. Basically all of that is now cleared out. While we're in here, I normally just put a bit of contact cleaner into some of the little areas that I know have issues. Work it in a little bit there. Doesn't really impact it like some of the DeWalt's where you have to get in there, but certainly always worth it if you've got it open. And give the gearbox a good clean if you can while it's there. If you really wanted to, you could strip this down and re-grease it, but we don't really have to, so we're not going to. So what I like to do is just get all the external stuff off these, whatever's stuck to them or just inside them, I like to get it all out. Right, now when it comes to reassembly, check here, you see these two little grooves? So they fit in the case basically a certain way. So whenever you put this together, make sure that's the correct way, or you're just going to be struggling for a long time to get it to sit flat in the case. And I have done that, and it's very annoying. Makes you lose your brain after a while, going round and round. Right, so what we're going to do then is get this all back in the case and fitted. There's a few ways to do it. You can either assemble the whole thing and try and push it all back in, or you can try and get it at a slight angle, wedge it in and push it flat. But whichever one works for you. But at the end of it, you need to have them all in just like this. Whatever you find works. And on the top of that magnet there, there's almost a reddy brown type line. And that's a bit of a telltale that has to be facing upwards. So make sure that's on this side, and make sure that brush housing is actually in as well. There's a little cutout for that as well in the case. So all of these things should sit flat, and they should have little notches that fit into the case. So get all those in, get the case back on, just like that. If it fits nicely, you've done it. If it doesn't and you're struggling, something isn't sitting flat, then you have to work out which bit it is and get it flat. So don't worry if you have to take this in and out a few times. It does happen, don't worry. Now, screw it all back together, or just pop a few in before you test it, whichever way you want to do it. So I'll put most of them in, and then what we'll do is just check this has fixed this fault. And it should have. It was fairly simple. Now here then, we're going to pop these brushes back in. Now they are in, they're just not forced back, so that spring pushes them there against the back of the armature. So make sure that they're in there and working. They're engaged. There's a little hole basically where that spring goes down, or a little slit, whatever you want to call it. Right, now always, or I do anyway, up to you, but always have a quick check that everything is functional on here when you've got it back in. That switch is working as well. As you slot it back in the case, you can get it at a slightly bad angle. Right, now there we go. That's a good sign. Back to working nicely. We are in speed 1 there, so it might look slow. It is slow. But just give it a bit of a functional test if you like. Everything seems to be working. Faster mode there, much better. There we go. So happy with that, that's worked. And fairly simple, to be honest, and all we did really was salvage a part and pop it in here, so not a difficult repair. But if you were buying that, it would be exactly the same thing. If you bought one of those for £40 or £50, all you'd be doing is swapping it out just as I've done there. So it's a bit of a process for you. I'm sure most of you could do that anyway. But just in case, there you go, I've showed you all of it. Nice longer video. Right, so that's that. All the screws are in there, back together. We've got the back on, and this was the problem child. So it's basically melted itself to death. But there are bits on here that we can then reuse. So the top bit here, I can reuse that, keep it for a repair. And basically the whole of the switch I can use as well, because this can be desoldered, and those that go to the heatsink can actually come off as well. So that's what we'll do. We'll keep most of this. Good to have spare bits around. and always handy, as you can see from today. Right, so that's it.